Evaluating film has been a passion my whole life. Knowing what's made one player fit a system is what drove me to help assemble a championship roster. Now I want to let you know where you stand. We are searching for the top prospects and revealing what makes players' film so great. Are you brave enough for Athletic Audit? What's your score? Welcome back to Athletic Audit. We have the man, the myth, and of course, the absolute legend, Coach Drew Jones. He's been at Syracuse. He's been at Tooele. He's now at Viewmont, leading them on their way to a championship this next season. And he is giving us a blessing of his time. He's already been here once. I accidentally deleted the video because I am absolutely killing it. But Coach Jones is kind enough to come back on not once, nay, but twice. He is killing it. The fan of Notre Dame, the fan of BYU, and a big Bronco Mendenhall guy. Also, the father of Little Breeze. He is the man, the legend, Coach Jones.
Well, thanks again. I'm excited to come back and do this again. And
you're telling me about all the cool helmets, all the cool things he's got going on. The technology that's coming into football is just amazing, is what he's been telling me a little bit about.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about these new helmets that we just got and being able to do some concussion protocol stuff with them. And
hey, if I learned anything from watching TV, we don't say the C word on this show. Concussion is never to be uttered. But we're going to talk about two guys today that never have to worry about concussions. And it's because they're phenomenal receivers that never get hit. I love talking about receivers. And I was super surprised when you chose Graham Livingston. How'd you choose Graham? What was the thought process going into that?
A couple things. I kind of saw him play a little bit last year. So I saw him at BYU when we played him at a 7-on tournament at BYU 7-on, and then just kind of followed him throughout his career last year, and then this year just kind of watched him, and then just watched him just because he's kind of a smaller receiver and he's had to do some things a little bit different because of being up north. The North guys are a little bit different and not as showy because they're up in Logan. It's a different environment up there, and so I kind of love those North boys up there, and so I kind of picked him because the North football is a little different.
Well, he's had an incredible career so far. He's had 3 seasons. He's done everything under the sun. I mean, he's closing in. If he has a great year this next year, he could be the all-time receiving leader in Utah history. He was the full-time receiving leader as a junior last year. I went and met with him and his team, and he's like, I'm going to do something special this next year. And I said, let's wait and see. And I waited, and I saw. My eyes were opened, and I was like, my goodness gracious, can anyone stop this kid? So I love that. I love to see what he's doing. And this isn't to sell anyone short. I mean, when you went against him, you had AJ Tillman and Kingston Mickens playing corner against him. Those are Division I high-level kids. I mean, Tillman's going to Utah State. Mickens is going to Weber State. Those are phenomenal players.
Yeah, I had both, Ryan and Kingston, and that's kind of what made me notice him really quick, right? Is his speed out the gate was a little different. So I was like, oh man, who is this kid? Because a lot of times we knew, Crew, because they had him playing some tight end, and they knew when you see, Graham, you didn't notice him until all of a sudden this kid starts flying around, and you're like, where did this kid come from? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this kid. And then he also plays D. And so you start saying like, hey, we got to watch him. Don't throw over there. Stay away, telling our quarterback, we got to high-low this kid and play off of him, when we saw him at BYU. And so they were tough. That was a tough team, and I think a lot of it stems from this kid and this kid's brain and the way his work ethic and the things that he does for them on the field.
Yeah, and we're going to get into it. Just a little more background. His dad's a coach on the team, and his brother, I recruited him at BYU, Hayden Livingston. Hayden, he's a phenomenal person to start out with, and that's what I like to start with, just people that come from great families. Hayden is a GA at BYU right now, just finished playing. He was offered at quarterback at Air Force, and we gave him a PWO to BYU. He came, played safety, did a great job, and then he went all over. And Hayden, as athletic as he is, he can't hold a candle to his little brother. And that's what all little brothers want to hear, how much better they are than the older one. And that's what I love to see. I love to see the evolution and love to see that guys are saying, okay, my brother did this, now I want to do this. And it's really cool to see. It reminds me of my little brother. I was a kicker and he came out, and my brother and the coaches were like, hey, you're going to be a kicker too. And he's like, no, I'm an actual athlete. We'll get this done. I'll show you. But it's fun to watch the evolution, fun to watch these kids. So let's get into receivers. I want to see what you're thinking about this. We're going to watch a little bit of his film and then give him a grading, because that's why we're here. We're doing an athletic audit. We want to see where he stacks up against the best. And I think you're going to like the comparison I have for him. So starting out, we got to understand that this is his junior year, first of all. Junior year highlights. Don't be mad when I rank him against a senior. But let's start with junior year. Tell me what you're seeing here, Coach, and what you're thinking.
First thing is, the right out of the gate, the speed of the burst of the dig route, right, coming across. The ball wasn't in the greatest spot, but he's going up and to get it. It's not coming to the body. And then the speed burst coming out, and we're looking at getting, the breakaway speed, right? So nobody catches him. So you're now looking at track speed. And that's kind of what colleges are going to look at right now is anybody catching him. So the track speed is showing right here. The first part is going up and getting, and then the second part is the track speed right there. But the big thing is he's showing going up and get it, putting his body up on it, up to grab, and then the track speed. Putting his body up is, sacrificing, not saying, hey, I'm going to be alligator arms, right? He's going to go up and get it, because the quarterbacks aren't perfect, and that's okay. But he's going to put himself out there and go get it, and off to the races you go.
You use the term alligator arms. Can you explain that to me, Coach?
So instead of having, he's fully extended his arms, instead of not getting scared and keeping his arms tight and bracing the hit, he's going out to get the ball, knowing that I might get hit. I'm going to sacrifice my body there, and his ribs are exposed, and he's going to just take it and be okay with the contact. A lot of times high school kids will fold up and be more compact down and not hold themselves up high, and then and that's kind of the alligator arms and keep themselves compact in, and that really shows that they're more sacrificing for themselves than really the football. The football is the most important piece of the game, not the play itself. It's the football. Take care of the ball. Take care of the ball. You don't want the ball in the opponent's hand. You don't want the ball on the ground. You don't want the ball on the ground. And he didn't let the ball hit the ground.
No, he did a phenomenal job throughout this whole thing. I love that he recognized that the other defender was going for the ball. I love seeing his speed. If you're going to be playing at a lower level, that's totally fine. I've recruited kids from 1A. I've recruited kids all the way to 6A, 7A. But what's going to make the difference at the end of the day is, are you that different of an athlete if you're playing at a lower level? Does your film pop? And this film right here pops for me from the first play. I love that you brought up track speed. He's running a sub 1100. If he can get to about a 10.7, 10.8, I think that's where we're going to make a huge difference. But right now, I think he's at about a 10.9. And he is a kid that is still improving, still getting better, and he's not filled into his body at all. But I love this in the first play.
Yeah, and the other thing that you'll notice too is he actually is probably reading the DB because he's trying to settle in the hole in space, right? Right now he's trying to settle. The ball gets him pushed into the DB. So he's actually probably reading, hey, I'm trying to settle in a hole, but it got pushed into it. So he's actually, the other thing that I liked is he's settling now in the hole, and then the ball got pushed into it, and so he went out and got it. So I really do think he was reading coverage too on this play. So I think this was a big bang for your buck out of the gate because he's showing he's settling. Oh, the ball wasn't placed perfectly. I'm gonna go get it. Went and got it, and then shows the track speed. So I think he got the 3-for-1 right there.
And we're not going to murder the quarterback on this one, to be honest with you. The quarterback, he had pressure from the defensive end coming off the weak side, getting the ball out, giving your receiver a chance, and giving it to your receiver that you trust the most. That's when you're going to get your wins.
Well, and it's hard. I mean, throwing a perfect ball all the time you're asking a lot. I mean, that's going to be hard. And so, like, as a receiver, we tell our receivers all the time, like, you got to go get it, like, regardless of the ball's never going to be perfect, and it's okay, and you just got to go up and get it. And this one kind of slipped. It happens. Like, that quarterback that they have at Ridgeline is a really good quarterback. He's not like that's not a bad quarterback by all means, and so it just got out and on him, and so. But that's a good play.
Is amazing. I mean, you look at the 26 class, they've been together. They all started as sophomores, and they're all dying that they haven't won a state championship yet. Last year, they're like, this is our year. And this year, you can tell they just want to get back up to Rice-Eccles. They're like, the fact we haven't won just kills us each and every day because they were a couple plays away their sophomore year, play or two away their junior year, and now they feel like it's their time.
Nope.
My goodness. Just such a beautiful play, and I just love everything about this. This is what your guys' first play has to look like if you want to be a slot at the next level. Now, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. You said in the 7-on-7 you played defense.
So he played a little D. The other thing that I like about the film, too, is at the small levels, even here at Viewmont, even at a 5A level, especially up north, a lot of times the teams up north have to play both ways. And so he's just shown that he's an all-around athlete. Again, he's going to show track speed. He shows that he can still break on the football. It gives him more bang for his buck on the film too, because now a college might go, maybe he can play DB too, or it gives him an avenue for another opportunity at the next level, maybe for another school to say, maybe he might not pan out as a receiver, but he might pan out as a DB. We don't know. We're not in the rooms at the college recruiting level, but that shows two things: he can break, and then the track speed again, that he can break and finishing there. And that break is unbelievable, by the way. Like, that's an unbelievable break.
Absolutely amazing. Let's just go look at the break again. Right here, recognizing the pass and then sprinting out, knowing that the quarterback is under duress and it may be a folly throw. But when quarterbacks get nervous, when they have people coming down on them, that's when good things happen for the defense. And I love his recognition. He's seeing everyone that's going on. He's checking. And then he slows down and he gets the ball all the way across the line. Too many guys, they drop the ball soon. But I love that you talked about his versatility. We would take kids, like we took a kid named Mike Davis at BYU, who was a phenomenal receiver in high school. We moved him to corner, and he's had a phenomenal league career in the NFL playing corner. We took kids like Kai Nakua, who was a quarterback, put him at safety. The more you can do, the better off you're going to be at the next level.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
The more you can show that you're a football player, like, the better some opportunities can come for you. But I mean, that's a great break. The next thing I like on this third play is now he's showing that he's in the slot. So he's shown, hey, I'm an outside receiver. I've been a slot. I've been on D, right? And so now he's shown, two different positions realistically on the offensive side. Okay. Great job on the slant. He didn't let the ball get to his chest. A lot of times when high school receivers go across the middle, they do, again, the alligator arms where they get the ball closer to the chest because they don't want to expose themselves. You can see his hands go out on this. Is a good job to see his hands go out forward for him, and then off the races he goes. The ball goes right to the right arm, so to the out of bounds. If the ball ends up coming out, it is in the out of bounds hand, right? So the ball gets placed right into the hand that is to the sideline already. That's small things that you probably don't think matter when you're running, but I'm thinking that the college guys are looking at, okay, where hand does it get placed right when he gets to the numbers, right? And so that ball's in the right hand, in the numbers, and then makes people miss and makes big plays.
Yeah, that's what I was going to highlight, his evasiveness right there. And then right here, he should be tackled. 3 guys around him, beat one with speed, beat one with a cut, and then beat a third with speed. Just right there, that whole entire play, it's a thing of beauty for 96 yards. And when you see that someone has the ability to run 96 yards, keep his speed up, and beat people that have angles on him, that guy has the angle. That's the only choice that Livingston had to choose right there to make a touchdown. And he wasn't getting any help from his other receivers for blocking down the field because he's already run past him. I think one of them could have made a difference, but didn't quite have the wheels on him. But Livingston showed that he is the fastest kid on the field at any given time at this division.
Yep. Got to find where he's at.
Kind of makes you happy you don't have to play this kid.
Yep.
I bet game planning is a nightmare for him.
The next thing I like, so right out of the gate, so he's shown that slot, outside receiver, right? When he was on the outside, the first play, it was off coverage, right? This one, it shows that he's pressed on the outside. So now he's shown that he can beat off a press. So now we've seen slot, off coverage from the outside, press from the outside. So now we've seen different versions of how to be as a receiver and go. And so I think right now he's showing his tools in the first minute of the film, and most college coaches are not going to. This is probably as far as they're going to get, and so he's already shown, I've been able to break on a football. I've shown I can beat a press. I've shown I've been in the slot, and I've shown, off press coverage. And so in a minute and a, so now he's markable already before we even got into more of this film. And so that's a big piece already.
Phenomenal job by the quarterback, too. I love how they played this out. The rollout to the left for our left-handed quarterback, getting the ball, not throwing it across his body, just doing everything right, and placing it where his guy could get it. And then I love the football IQ of Livingston right here, saying, okay, I got a safety right there. I'm open, knowing that the safety and the corner are coming, and he's got to find ways to get up. And then I love the blocking by his other receiver right there as well.
The other thing is he stacks that corner really well, and so and then when he makes the break, he kind of makes it flat instead of a lot of times receivers will make the corner route more of a corner, so it gives that safety more leverage to still make the play, right? He flattens his corner out because he knows that top safety, if he keeps making it corner, he now can make a break. So you see Livingston kind of bring it more down, which it's a high IQ between the quarterback and the receiver, because they know he's got to flatten it out to make it. Do you hear him going with that? Make it where there's more space. And then the exclamation part of this whole play is the last block. The kid that comes in, I think it's the tight end that's coming over, that number 13 that makes the last block that helps the teammate and gets him loose again. And then the separation speed shows again. Great press release, though.
Phenomenal press release. And I love the quarterback recognizing what's going on. And then when you even have the kicker at the bottom of the field saying, "Oh, looks like I'm going on the field," that's when it's a good sign before he even crosses the end zone.
Well, and I know. I think it's Travis Van Leeuwen that's up there that does some receiver work for those kids up there, and he does an unbelievable job of helping those kids up north in that Cache Valley. I know he did a 7-on group for a while, and then he stopped, but he just does some training up there. And I know Livingston did some things with him and stuff. And I highly suggest, when kids have some extra time or extra work, sometimes getting some extra pointers from other coaches. I know some high school coaches don't want to hear this, but I think personally it's hearing other voices sometimes is good. Like I love my kids going to Ross Awful. I'm going to be frank with it. And I love my kids hearing from, Travis Van Leeuwen. Like I do. I think getting some other points and other techniques is good for them. Like I love that about them. And I mean, I have kids that go to Ross right now. It helps me. It helps gain some knowledge too. And I know Livingston is doing that, and it helps him. And so I'm a big believer in that stuff. And I'm pretty sure some of these techniques are coming from that.
I completely agree with that. I think if you can find the right trainers, that's what makes a difference. And never have a trainer that's like going and discrediting position coaches at that level.
Yep.
You're working with position coaches. You're saying, hey, let's get this kid to the next level together. And honestly, nowadays, Van Leeuwen, he's a sports psychologist now as well. And so most kids that I work with, they've got a strength coach, a speed coach, a mental coach, a position-specific coach, and their head coach. It's no longer just, hey, I just have my head coach and that's it. That's not enough.
Good. I love this play, by the way. This is one that I love on again, another break from depth. This was from way deep. And the speed coming from safety downhill to see this is from a drag is unbelievable.
Oh, he looks like he's having more fun than anyone else on the field. I mean, I've heard of coaches on the Big 12 being like, hey, I haven't watched your film, but when I did, it was magical. Just great stuff. And it makes me laugh. He has other teammates that are like, why aren't you guys recruiting this kid? I mean, Graham only has a few offers, and he will get a lot more. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to go over his film with you. So I've seen enough of him. Have you seen enough?
Oh, yeah.
With speed, I've got his speed. I rated him a 8 out of 10 on speed. It should be a 9. I'll probably rate him a 9. But with the 9, that lets me know he's about a 4.5 kid. I know his 100-meter dash is around 10.8, 10.9. And so I think his speed is really good.
I think you're right on. 8, 9 is probably where I would say.
Yeah, his speed, I mean, that's not the question. If he gets like a 10.7, 10.6, he becomes a major P4 player. If he's just around like 10.9, 11, he's more of a G5 kid. Anything above that, it's kind of a 1 AA situation is what we're looking at. So body control, I gave him a 10. What do you think?
No, I think body control is kind of his thing. Seeing right out of the gate, the very first play, he can control, go up. get the ball. I think his hips are really good. Seeing him coming out of a break, hips are a little bit, are great. He can control his stances, knees over toes, hip placements. I just think he can move his body really well. I think weight room. I bet his weight room scores are pretty high. I bet his cleans and squats are going to be high just because of body movements. So I would say a 10.
For sure. I think 10 is great. For hands, I gave him a 10 as well because no alligator arms, his confidence with it, his hands were just phenomenal. And leading the state as a junior with over 1,600 yards is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I seen him personally, play, coaching against him at the 7-on, and he didn't drop anything. Like it was not. I mean, his hands were good. It was. I mean, he and then just watching the film, he was fun to watch live and then watch on film, and so I fully agree. His hands were 10.
Yeah, we're hitting a Knight's Tale situation with him. It's how would you beat him in his sleep with his stick, but with a helmet on the field with some gloves? No one's stopping that man. Also, blocking, I put him at an 8 for blocking. We didn't see it on the film, but his physicality, his thought process, everything in there, I know he has the tools to do it.
Yeah, I wish that was one of the things I would bring up on the film, is showing that added in there somewhere in his film early, just showing that he can do some blocking. Just because I know that's going to come up in college football. They're gonna want to see that as a receiver, and so between if he's going to try to play outside or not. If he's playing in slot, he's probably a bubble guy, running a lot of bubble, a lot of RPO, hitch stuff. And so maybe that's some of the focus point for him, but I do think the blocking is going to have to, I would show it a little bit. And I think he can. I know he's a physical kid because he's playing defense,
Route running, I kind of dinged him on that. He looked a little lackadaisical on a couple of his routes, but you can improve things, and that's the awesome thing. And I'm being so freaking nitpicky, it's hilarious. But I gave him an 8 out of 10 on that. What do you think about his route running?
See, so it's hard because I seen him up front. I think he's pretty good at it. I just think sometimes it's some of the guys, some of the teams that he gets with, he can just he's the best player on the field, so he knows I can just do it. The problem where I think you're coming from, where I think you're gonna, you see it a little bit different, is you can't do that because you got to be on top of things all the time because of the nitpickiness of you better be crisp because of the teams that you are playing. Sometimes, at that level, it's different from 6A, right? Those 6A schools constantly have dudes, where at the smaller schools they don't always have dudes, and so he's gonna have to be precise always. And I get where you're going. When he's on, he's on.
Yeah, and he could be tuckered out, honestly, from playing offense and defense. I mean, there's only so many.
He probably returns kicks. I wouldn't be shocked if he returns kicks.
Well, that's the thing. I went out kicking with their kicker last year, Aaron Young, and he showed up on the field and he's like, "Yeah, I'll return for you." And I'm like,
freaking. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if he returns kicks. So I bet kid is playing. He's probably returning kicks, playing D, and then turn around and running routes. And if he's probably RPOing, he's probably not doing a lot of he's either running bubble or, he's always running something. So when is he coming off?
That's always the question. Football IQ, I gave him a 10. You pointed out so many things where I'm like, this is a smart kid.
Yeah, I think he's intelligent, but he comes from a coach's background, right? And then older brothers probably taught him, and he just understands the game, understands the the leverage of the game, understands space, understands how to break as a DB, understands recognition as a DB, how to stack as a receiver, when to take a corner out, when to not, make it flat. He's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Next, I went tracking. I gave him a 10 out of that. Just the first play where you talked about alligator arms, where you talked about his wherewithal, everything he was doing. I was like, yeah, that's a 10 for me.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, he'll go up and get it.
Defeating the press, I gave him an 8 just because I didn't see him against a Kingston Mickens or a Tillman or any of these guys in the film. Can he do it? Yes. Did I see it? No.
Yep. I agree. And a lot of people aren't going to press in high school, right? I mean, in college, you're going to get it a little bit more. But in high school, it's very little pressing. And so, can he do it? We don't know. I really don't. You don't see a ton. You don't see a ton of people do it. And so, how well is he? We don't know. You see it at 7-on because that's everybody at 7-on thinks it's cool to press. You'll go to park this Saturday, and you'll see all these dudes in these pink uniforms, and press up, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
So, after defeating the press, quickness 10. I mean, that just what I saw at least. Confidence, all's well 10. I mean, just you don't lead the state in receiving unless you're a confident fellow, and you're up against top records against guys that are in the NFL, unless you are that guy. Size, I gave him a 3.
Yeah, he's not the tallest kid.
No. And that's okay. We've seen Britton Covey. We've seen guys that have gone through. And then finally, grit, I also gave him a 10.
Yeah. No, he's tough. I mean, you got to be tough if you're going to do, the D, the O. And like I said, I imagine he's probably returning some kicks. And I bet in the dire need of things, they probably put him in certain situations. Like, hey, you're going to go at this position just because he's a playmaker, right? And so he's probably learned a different position here and there just in a dire need, just to, hey, we're going to get you the ball in the flats just because if I get you the ball in space, he's going to make a play. And so I think toughness becomes a big piece of it. But no, I think those are right on.
He's a kid. I'd want to get him the ball at least 1 to 2 times a series, honestly. Just beat him. Let's see if we can get him 12 to 16 touches a game minimum.
I mean, because if you look at it, if you get him, the percentage is high if you get him in that realm of him scoring. I mean, just the missed tackles, people not being able to tackle him, or the breakaway speed, or I mean, you just saw a 96-yard touchdown. What was the other one on the very first one was got to be 60 to 70, right out of the gate. And so the angles, people take bad angles on him, and so he's gone with that track speed. And so, yeah, I'm with you. You get two touches a series, you get him 16, 17 touches in a game. The percentage of him scoring is really high. You're talking, a 20. I would imagine 25% ratio. And if you go back and look at their scores, they're probably in the high 30s, 40s. You're probably talking high 30s of their point total of the year. And that's probably why. I mean, when you're talking about, you got a game plan for that, talk about the running back, quarterback play, and then you got a tight end that's a 4-star kid. And so, and then your O-line, I mean, they got a couple of linemen that are college-bound kids. And so, now this thing becomes difficult, and so.
I mean, Easton Hammond does a great job. Crew Jones, you're like, hey, this kid's a difference maker on both sides of the ball. There's people telling me, they're like, we think he's a better tight end than D end. I'm like, I don't know about that. I think he's phenomenal at both. I think he could be an outside backer at the next level because of his hips, his mobility. There's so many things, and I just love that they have this opportunity. So he gets a final score of about an .8762 right now, and that's off his junior film. He still has another year to impress us, maybe hit a growth spurt, who knows, and see what we can do. And then I had the opportunity to kind of look and see and be like, hey, who's his comparison? What can we compare him to? And I just want to show you a couple short little clips of who I think this kid could be. And that's what I love to see. Like, where is the kid right now and where could he be? For me, I was like, okay, he was a kid that his dad was a coach. This kid, his dad was a coach. He's a kid that's a little undersized. This kid's a little undersized. He's a kid that comes from an amazing family. And for me, it was Noah Kjar. That's his player comparison. Noah Kjar showed a lot of the same attributes, and we don't need to dive as much into him. At Weber State, he's had some kickoff returns for touchdowns, did everything for them last year, and they need to give him the ball more at Weber State. But it's that balancing act going FCS saying, hey, do we really want to showcase our younger guys, or do we want to wait till they're a little bit older?
Well, and it's funny, like the very first play, like, okay, he's running a dig route, you know, coming across the middle. What was the very first play of Graham? And coming across, right? And Graham's actually stops because he's trying to read it. I think Noah reads this. It's man. He's kind of more man to man. I'm going to run it across because of it. And then he shows his track speed, which his track speed is no joke. Like Noah's track speed is no joke. And I was at Weber State spring ball last week watching him. I was watching receivers. That kid's amazing, right? You're 100% right. He's not the biggest statue of kid. Like, he's not overly tall. He's put together. I mean, the kid is built, strong, but his brain, like Noah's brain is unreal. I mean, just watching him and listening to him talk while he was at Weber State and the drills, like his footwork, oh my goodness, it was unreal. And the kid is very similar. Graham is very similar. Noah is very fast though. But again, a lot of the same things. No alligator arm, go get it. Tough, showing things in the slot. You know, like I mean, all over the field. He's shown from the inside, from number 2 to number 3 receivers, right? I mean, like it just. The kid, I mean, I will tell you, just watching this film, and I know you're looking at a senior film to a junior film, though, the route running is a big difference.
Yep.
But and I'll just tell you, and I just think, one, you're seeing 6A football. He's got to be precise, Noah, a little bit more. But I think Noah doesn't. I mean, everything is precise.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just be honest, like that. Like his route running is unreal. Like he doesn't, but everything's hands up, go up, get it. But his route running is unbelievable.
He has a little bit better O-line where you've got Jackson Powers Johnson, who was a second-round pick. You've got Jackson Dart throwing the ball.
Yeah.
You can't do one-on-ones with any of these guys because Jackson Dart is throwing for 5,000 yards and rushing for 1,000. And it makes the dynamic a little bit different when you're getting one-on-ones. Graham will never see a one-on-one this whole entire year. And so that's where the difference is. The other thing with Noah, his recruiting journey was a little bit difficult. He had some health problems that a lot of teams shied away from him. But more than that, he was an LDS missionary, and he came out during the COVID season, and no one knew if they were going to replay that season, what was going on, where kids fit in the roster. And so those are all really tough things that Noah Kjar had to face. If Noah was coming out nowadays, I think he'd be one of those kids that, just like Graham, would have the opportunities right in front of him that Graham has. And so that's the tough thing. How do you separate yourself even when things don't go to plan?
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
Those views, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I agree. I think he would have had some of the opportunities, but I mean, you see the same elusiveness. You're seeing the, you're seeing the same build of a kid between the two receivers, right? And just the brain power, of the two kids, how to see space, how to stack receivers, how to get, open. I mean, just things are phenomenal with that.
I freaking love this play. One of my coaches would always be like, hey, what's better than being a football player? And we'd say, being a smart football player. And this kid is a smart football player, and they are just built. I mean, you see the similarities, and this is what coaches will do to you guys. They'll say, who does he remind you of? Was always the question I would get whenever I'd present someone new. What's this kid like? Is he like someone on our team? Is he like someone we played? Is he like someone from the past? This is what they do in the comparison. And Noah Kjar is absolutely tearing it up at Weber State, where a lot of the FBS schools are sitting here saying, I wish I would have taken Noah Kjar. I know Utah State does. They took his little brother Tate, and Tate's been doing good at Utah State. And I think he's going to do even better under a Bronco Mendenhall system.
Yep. See, here's the blocking. See how he had on that. On this, he has the blocking piece. I mean, I know but it has enough. I mean, it shows enough that there is that piece there, where we're gonna get into it. And I know it's a little bit, but it's enough that, hey, it shows a dabble of it where we've got to see and go. Finding holes, setting. There's again how to settle down and being sit in spaces and going. And again, here is in the state title game or the Final Four game, because it was that COVID year where we played that year at Cedar Valley.
Yep. Woo! You got a good lick right there. Still in up, still got it.
Yep.
And got a good lick.
Yep.
So this is what I want you guys to see. If you are a slot type player, your film needs to look like this. We could go 10 minutes in almost, and it's all the same. But what's beautiful about this is you guys have the examples. Who would you compare yourself to? And these are two comparisons. Maybe someone's like, no, this kid's a Britton Covey, or no, this kid's a whatever. Find out who you're like, and it's only going to be varsity film. The more we watch, the better we're going to get. Still reps from these guys, because these are two phenomenal players where you can say, oh, they recognize this. This is what they're doing against a cover 2. This is what they're doing over a cover 3, a cover 1. This is what they do in man press. And this is what's going to impress your coaches. Sit down with your coach. I know Coach Jones would sit down with any of his guys, go over film and help them out. And your high school coach, it's going to pay dividends if you guys have higher football IQ. And this is what we're looking for. So, Coach Jones, thank you so much for coming on. I know we could rate Noah, but I already know what he is.
He was amazing to watch the other day at practice when I went up to Weber State and watched them at spring ball. He was fun to watch up there, and he, it's they're in our backyard, so it's easy to get up there and watch and see him, and he's amazing, and they did a great job. But the funny thing is about Corner Canyon, it's like that every year with their receivers. It seems like they get those dudes like that every year, and then they might not be, the biggest statue outside of the Jerome Miles kid was a different statue of kid, and
well, Cody Hagan was nice too. It's always nice when your tallest receiver runs like a 10.5.
Yeah. So I watched him at the track meet when he ran. I was like, my goodness.
The crazy thing about Jerome, he's probably their best kicker too. I went out to practice at West Jordan when he was a sophomore, and he's hitting 55-yard field goals. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is there anything you can't do? Must be
Yeah.
nice.
No, exactly. But no, they do a good job with, their receivers with that. So whoever's doing their receivers over at Corner Canyon, and props to them too. I mean, they have a pretty good job. I mean, idea of how they want their receivers and to look and do things, and an idea. And so props to Corner Canyon, because they always are like that. And whoever else is helping them with it. But I think they do a great job, and like I said, it was fun watching Noah just the other day. Like, he was amazing, good kid, and they had a couple Corner Canyon kids up there watching him and taking pictures with them. Noah, so you could see the relationship with that family of Corner Canyon. So it was pretty cool. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate everything you're doing. You guys, if you want to be on Athletic Audit, just hit me up. We'll get you guys taken care of. Know that I freaking love you. Reach out to me at MooseB90. We'll be watching you, hopefully, in the state title game. I want to be calling it this next year for you. And so I'll be watching out for that with Cooper Willinsboro and all of your good players. I just love coming out to a Viewmont game. Came out to a couple of last year and had a
we'll love to have you out. Come out anytime. We'll get you taken care of. Up on our little breeze of cold nest up there, but we don't have the best press box. But come out, we'll feed you, take care of you, get you some gear, and then have some fun. Cooper would love to have you. We got some pretty fun kids, and they love you guys. They love you, Moose. They love, obviously, Dane to come out, and Dusty, those guys. We love you guys, and we're excited for. We just had our first spring practice yesterday, so we're excited. So,
well, we're returning 4 linemen. We've got some good things going. Let's go Viewmont Vikings. And
hopefully we just don't kill the pacemaker. That's all we got to do this year. Don't kill the pacemaker. I mean, after the Bountiful deal, after we went in overtime with Bountiful, we were going for the coin toss. I was telling Coach Frank. He's like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm getting shocked right now." So I'm like, after we dipped after this game, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor.
Oh my God. Coach, we just need to find you a new heart and a new Achilles. We might hop on the yellow brick road and go see the Wizard of Oz pretty quick here.
Yes. So, but yeah, we'll be all right. The group is doing great, and we love, it's a blessing to be a football coach. I love it. It's a blessing to be around people like you guys, and the coaching family. There's so many great head coaches to hang out with and talk to, and it's just a good family. Utah is a small niche family of good coaches from college all the way down. We all get to talk to each other and cheer for each other. We play each other, but I absolutely love every coach here in the state, and it's been just grateful just to be a part and be blessed to be a part of it. So,
well, we freaking love you. Like I said, the man, the myth, the legend. Reach out to me. We'll get you taken care of. Thank you for Graham for putting up great film, and thank you for Noah Kjar for putting up great film. This is Moose Bingham on Athletic Audit. Evaluating film has been a passion my whole life. Knowing what's made one player fit a system is what drove me to help assemble a championship roster. Now I want to let you know where you stand. We are searching for the top prospects and revealing what makes players' film so great. Are you brave enough for Athletic Audit? What's your score?